Larry Anglisano reporting from NBAA-BACE 2025 in Las Vegas on board a Cessna Citation Sovereign Plus equipped with a permanently installed Starlink system. Now, there's a company out in Washington called AeroMech, and they've done a bunch of STCs on the Starlink system and a bunch of business jets. We're going to get airborne and check the system out. We'll talk to Anthony Wiederkehr about what it takes to retrofit a system in a Cessna Sovereign like this.
Yeah. So when I first heard Starlink was getting into aviation, the key point for me was looking at the fact that they're vertically integrated technology-wise. They do everything. They launch the satellites into space. They set up the constellation. They make all the hardware. And that type of vertical integration allows for technology advancement. And when we realized that was the case, that was certainly a company we were interested in working with. And so today, fast forward 3 years, we have 8 Starlink STCs on business jets, mostly the Citation models. Today we're flying on a Citation Sovereign Plus, and we've accomplished a lot. So far, the feedback in the field through about 100 installations total crossing all of our STCs is better than expected. That's been the feeling from everyone who's involved. Regarding the installation, usually a downtime is about 2 weeks. If you have interior out, it can be shorter than that. Depending on configuration of the airplane, sometimes it could be a little bit longer, but you're mainly looking at 2 weeks of downtime. Great time to do it is when you're in a shop getting maintenance done or other scheduled downtime with the installation. Main part of the interior removal is removing the headliner, of course, since it's a top fuselage installation. So those are the key points. And another key point for installers, it doesn't connect to any onboard aircraft systems. All you need is an AirLink bus for power, but it's a standalone system, and the architecture really works more like a home internet system than traditional avionics connectivity. Yeah, so in terms of the components, obviously there's a Starlink antenna, which is the most visible. There is a standalone power supply unit that powers the antenna. And then there is a Wi-Fi router. Some of the installations also require a power inverter, and some do not. And so that's another LRU in the cabin. The PSU router and inverter are all cabin LRUs, and normally we place those in areas where obviously they're not visible. But one key point is router placement for Wi-Fi performance overall. That's really the key point we have to consider on the inside, is making sure that it's in an ideal location so that you never experience any downward trend in your Wi-Fi performance.
Speeds, you'll see the advertised rates, which are somewhere between 130 and 300 megabytes per second. But we're often seeing people above that. In terms of download speed, we're often seeing in the high 300s and 400s. Upload speed, today actually we had some speed tests that showed 99 megabytes per second upload, which is fascinating. Really the key about connectivity though is latency. And the fact that they are consistently below 30 milliseconds latency and around that is pretty incredible. Everyone knows speeds can vary depending on your connection strength and how many people are on board the airplane. But for the most part, it's incredible how low the latency is and truly how high speed the internet is. And we expect as the technology advances that the speeds will continue to increase because as the satellites get better, your connection to your antenna will get better.
One of the things about having the Starlink system installed versus some other systems, in the engineering of other systems, they were so worried about where they put the antenna. And so when I went through the Performa early on, that's the first thing I asked is like, well, where are you going to put the router? And they're like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, wait a minute. I've gone through the GoGo install, I've gone through Smart Sky install. It was all critical of where the antenna got installed. With this, they said it's not an issue. I mean, our antenna is mounted on the wall behind the back seat. Yeah. And, it's not intrusive. Honestly, from the day I got the plane, it was pretty much flawless. I mean, the system, you turn it on, it works. 95-98% of the time, I'm getting over 400 megabytes a second, which is unheard of. They don't even advertise that. I didn't even know I was going to get that much. So, but as far as the install, it was a lot easier than the other systems because the antenna didn't have to be put in a certain place. So, Stevens did a great job doing fluid dynamics to make sure there was no interference with the antenna installed on top. They had one issue, and they were able to fix that. And so Ken, my pilot, said he has had no issues whatsoever with a plane performing differently or flying differently. No vibrations or anything.
What kind of downtime?
Typically it's about a month. Yeah. Now I was STC, so it took me about 2 weeks longer, but typically it won't take it more than a month.
This was the STC airplane?
Yes. Yeah. So typically they said 4 weeks the first time. They actually said less than that, but I was realistic. I've gone through this process before, and you know, I'd say a month is doable. Now that they've been through the process, they know exactly how to do a Sovereign Plus now.
Typical all-in cost, like start to finish to fly away with Starlink, you're going to range anywhere from the low 200s to the high 200s on the Textron model airframes for the most part. Citation latitude and longitude pricing isn't quite known out there yet. Something like a Sovereign, you're probably looking at mid 200s in most shops to get that installed.
Yeah, it's an expensive system. But what is it, I mean, if you already own a jet like this, what is the expense of that when it comes to safety? There's no price tag on that. If you're halfway across, let's just say you're flying from LA to Maui, like 2,160 nautical miles, something like that, you lose a screen halfway across there, and if you lose communication, you got a bigger issue. You literally can take an iPad, and Ken can talk about it. Ken had an issue with the middle screen not communicating correctly with the other two. He literally went on his phone, got on the Wi-Fi, went on FlightAware and checked some stuff and was able to diagnose the problem. That's a big issue for pilots. Like, I think there's a whole nother phase of the Wi-Fi high-speed connectivity for safety. And so that's the way, when I look at the pricing of what I pay on this, I take half the cost and book it to safety. Because, I mean, there is no price tag. Let's face it, if you're at 40,000 feet and you lose an engine, or you lose a screen, you can't, you know, yeah, you can swap the screens from there to there, but then your co-pilot, you know, your SIC has no screen. And the fact that you have such fast Wi-Fi that you can literally go into flight and put it on there, it's just, there's a whole different aspect of safety. And that's some of the things that I didn't even think about when I bought the system.
Yeah, so to learn more about us, our website, AeroMechinc.com/Starlink has the list of all of our STCs, all the foreign validations that we have for those, more information about the product, the LRUs that are involved. It's got a lot of good general information there. And then, of course, Starlink keeps their aviation website very well up to date. LinkedIn is where we post news on everything going on. So in terms of AeroMech right now, we are looking at doing the Hawker 800, 900 series Starlink STCs. But we're doing that, of course, in partnership with Textron. Textron will have more news on that as it becomes available. And of course, really the push now is to look at other airframes that don't have Starlink available and continue to bring this technology to the market.